Insider drops a huge Bengals trade report concerning Trey Hendrickson. Once believed to not be on the trading block, looks as though things are starting to heat up once again. We'll break down the report and what implications it can mean for the Bengals on this upcoming 2025 season. Welcome to the jungle. This is Isaac Coffman with Bengals Digest. So happy to see all you Bengals fans. And if you want to be up to date on all the breaking news as it happens, you are in the right spot. Smash that subscribe so you'll be up to date. You'll be a part of the community. We look forward to hearing your comments. We love hearing from all you Bengals fans as we get ready for this 2025 season. Be sure to drop us a line below and comment your thoughts on this offseason so far. Well, it goes without saying, the headlines have been dominated for the Bengals with Trey Hendrickson. Why? Because he was the sack leader last year, because he was the bright spot of this defense. The biggest thing that's going to be harped on this year for the Bengals, it goes with the defense. They have proven if they do not improve, they are not going to come close to the playoffs. They were one game off last year. But if they don't improve from where they were, even if Joe Burrow is your quarterback, even if you have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, Mike Gesicki, all those guys, it still is not going to be enough to get you to the playoffs. They have got to get better on defense. The bright spot was Trey Hendrickson. He led the league with sacks, and yet the Bengals defense continued to struggle. So now with these standoffs that has been ongoing, it's just a repeating course of Trey Hendrickson wanting a new contract, threatening to sit out. So far, he has not been participating. He has been at training camp, but has not participated. In the past, Mike Brown came out and said they are not going to be trading Trey Hendrickson. Well, that changed today. Coming from Ian Rapoport, he has just broke the news that they are listening to trade offers for Trey Hendrickson yet again. Again, these are reports, but the problem has been Trey Hendrickson wanting more guaranteed money. The Bengals are not close. Trey Hendrickson saying it's been laughable how much of a difference. Some reports are saying they're close. Some are working. It seems like everything but guaranteed money that Trey Hendrickson wants is just not being met. Everything else seems to be A-okay with Hendrickson, which is disappointing. You just want this stuff to be done and moved on. You're seeing what this Bengals team is doing. There's been some positives in practice on the defense. Again, it's early. You want to see this in real game action. And we've got preseason going on. So that's where you're going to see these types of things. But you want to see Hendrickson out there. You want to see him participating. So this is just a little bit of a, 2 steps forward, 4 steps back kind of a thing. There was progression showing that they were kind of getting closer. Trey Hendrickson at first threatening to sit out of camp altogether. Then he shows up, is there at least coaching along guys like Shamar Stewart and other guys like Joseph Asai, those types of things, looking like things are kind of in the positive. Now this report is showing they just are at this impasse. They just are not willing to agree or buckle. And I think that's what's going to take for both sides. They're going to have to sacrifice on both sides. Hendrickson certainly is wanting more guaranteed, but how much are you going to really be content and happy with? And the same goes with the Bengals. You don't want to give up more guaranteed, but how much are you happy with a guy that led the league in sacks, with a guy that was your bright spot on the defense last year? How are you going to make up that production? Certainly, there could be other guys that step up. You have young guys on that line. But even as we speak, Myles Murphy is injured, and other guys, Joseph Asai has had injury in the past. Are you that confident that even if these guys step up, do you have the depth of next man up? That's the things you got to think about. Sure, Hendrickson, they can move on from him, but at what cost? Is it going to be that much of a cost that you're willing to eat of losing a guy like Hendrickson? It's just not good all around. The Bengals are fully capable of paying Hendrickson more, and say what you will, he's under contract. That's been a discussion. He should play out his contract, but the Bengals have come out and said they are willing to pay more. That's what this issue really is the he said, this and that. Whatever it is, Bengals fans, we're kind of caught in the middle. It's a frustrating experience. I see your comments. I'm with you. I'm with you guys. I wish Hendrickson would just play out and hope that he can ball out this year and he can go get that monster contract next year if it's not with the Bengals elsewhere. He has been wanting to benefit from that of the Bengals get good return if they were to trade him, and he would go to a contender. Well, with these trade talks, this is the interesting thing, is they are linking the Browns, the Colts, and the Panthers among ones that are interested. And no knock against these teams, but to me, it feels like these are not contenders. Certainly, any given Sunday, any team can go out there, and you're in the NFL. They could go out there and go on a tear and make the playoffs. We've seen it happen. But I don't know if these are ones that Trey Hendrickson would personally want to be traded to. It's hard to say. Maybe he would. The Colts, you have Lou Anarumo. Maybe he would want to welcome that going back to that defensive scheme. Who knows? But this is just an interesting turn of events. Mike Brown coming out and say they are not going to trade him. Now you have a report coming out to say that they're willing to trade him. Just interesting. Very interesting. And you've certainly got interest. There's teams that are going to be that one piece away. One was the Lions. They have been linked to. They have been Super Bowl contenders for the last few seasons. They have just had injury at those defensive linemen. So having a guy like Hendrickson, they might be willing to sacrifice picks or whatever the Bengals would want in return for Hendrickson. Because I think that's the problem we're looking at. The Bengals want a lot in return for Hendrickson. Hendrickson wants a monster contract. So is the team willing to give up not just draft capital, but now you're going to have to pay a guy somewhere in the ballpark of 30 to 40 million to extend the guy. Right now, he's just that 1 year rental. He's sitting at about 16 million, but he's not happy with that. If he goes to another contender, he's going to want more. That's the whole issue that's underlying at this. So it's interesting. There was another report coming out how things have just kind of hit a wall. That's what I find surprising about all this. This has kind of been under development. We've heard silence about it, but here's another report coming about it that it's not going to be easy for the trade, but this has kind of been the talk that they have not been as close as once let on. Because if you were to take it from Mike Brown, if you were going to take it from Duke Tobin, they would say everything's all peachy clean. We're really close. We're working on this. And certainly that wasn't lying. That wasn't stretching things. But I think they were focusing more on the positive. Maybe they had some good discussions. In the end, it seems like they're farther apart than we once thought, which is disappointing, right? We want Trey Hendrickson on this team. We want him to be on a winning team that is going to have high aspirations. This team is in a short window. Even with Joe Burrow signed for the next few seasons, you get the sense this is boom or bust this year. I don't believe that to be the case. I feel like they're going to be competitive for the next few seasons, but this is probably their best chance outside of those younger guys stepping up or they somehow secure other players. This is your window. This is your win now this year. The Bengals need to treat it that way. And it seemed like they were taking that seriously by signing Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. I certainly believe that the Bengals are in that win now mentality. I'm not saying they aren't. But again, 2 steps forward, 4 steps back. You get guys like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins happy, sign long-term, and then you put Trey Hendrickson on silent notice. You just wonder how things are handled. It's just not a smooth transition. It feels like you're on that bumpy road constantly with this organization. I get it. It's a business. That's how things go. Things are never going to be smooth with a business. But this is a game of football. And us fans, we want to enjoy that aspect of it. We want to see our team succeed. So yeah, the business overlaps. We're seeing players like Trey Hendrickson. We're thinking in our mind, how great would it be to have a guy like Hendrickson that's going to take you to the playoffs, that's going to take you to the Super Bowl, lead the charge, so to say, to improve this defense. And right now, it's just, it's tough. With all the drama we've had to go through of, again, Hendrickson meeting with the media, voicing his displeasure, the front office saying this is absurd and unnecessary. No, this is fine. It can get a little exhausting at times, certainly. Let's just hope that maybe this ignites a fire. If the Bengals want to get this done, they finally give in. Maybe there's some sacrifice on Hendrickson's side too. I think that's the big thing. Both sides need to look at it of we need to sacrifice to make everyone happy. We're all trying to do the same thing. We're trying to win a Super Bowl. Because as much as Hendrickson has said he's willing to trade, he said, I'm hoping that my return can help this Bengals organization. He still has a lot of respect for the Bengals. As much as this has caused some friction, he still has that respect and wants to see the Bengals succeed. And I love that. I love that he still is showing that kind of a garner of I want the best for this team despite my circumstances. Maybe I go for another team. But I just hope they can meet in the middle. That's my hope through all of this. We've been through a lot this offseason, and you just hope they can work things out. I hated to see this trade report come up because I don't think the Bengals are going to get much in return, honestly. I don't think that they're going to get what they think. They're probably expecting that first-round draft pick. I don't see that. I mean, if you can, that might work out, but I just don't see it. I hope that they can just get Hendrickson back and we can move on and focus on what this defense can do, especially since you have a guy like Shamar Stewart, who, despite his drama and all the things that have been going on, is just starting to really light it up. So far, it's early. Again, I get that, but we're just imagining the what ifs of him and Hendrickson being your starters and what that defense can do. It starts up front. The Bengals have got to get the pressures, and that'll trickle down to the rest of the defense. And who knows? We might be talking January, this team going far in the playoffs, and how exciting will that be? We'll try and focus on the positives, but in the meantime, stay tuned. Keep an eye on this developing news that has just broke of possible trade of Trey Hendrickson. We want to hear from you guys. What do you think? Do you think Trey Hendrickson is going to end up being traded? Do you think they're going to work things out? Do you think he's going to still be sitting out come week 1? We want to hear your thoughts. So comment below and share your thoughts. And if you have not already, be sure you smash that subscribe. We are on our way to 3,000 subscribers. I think we can get there with your help before week 1. Let's make it happen. Let's make it a goal. And in the meantime, as we say, today.